There. Thanks for coming. Same night.
Supposed to get keys from them too. That's okay. From the world. We'll transition that way. Some days are like. We haven't officially started. I got 1 minute. I got 1 minute. Digital clock, right?
Hit the record button.
Oh, okay.
Just, you can start the record button for me. You can start whenever.
Well, power.
Wow, good. How are you?
Now we're on. Please wait.
This looks very coordinated.
Yeah, you can thank John there for
Awesome.
that.
Oh,
That is
nice,
recording.
nice.
It's counting for me. Thanks.
Wow.
Very well.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting, regular meeting of the Inland Township Planning Commission to order. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Our flag is on the right-hand side of the, or this side of the.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So roll call is our next item on the agenda.
Handy,
Here.
Kramer,
Here.
Drew, Judy, here, Truex,
Here.
Nelson.
Present.
And can we get the sign-in sheet for Mary? Okay, so the next item on our agenda is public comment. And I will say that public comment is intended to be separate from the public hearings that we're gonna be holding tonight. So public comment, any person wishing to address the planning commission may do so once per public comment period. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and shall be addressed to the chair, not individual commission members or any others in the audience. This is
Speak a little bit louder, I can't hear back here.
Sure, I can do that. I can project. This is a comment or input option. The planning commission, can you hear me? Okay. The planning commission is not required to comment or respond to the presenters, and silence or non-response from the planning commission should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the planning commission. So at this time, I would open for public comment, not the public hearing topic. So if there's anything
So we'll be allowed to
else.
speak under the public hearing for
Correct.
what?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
So if there's any other public comments for items, other items on the agenda that do not have a special hearing, or other items that you want us to just know your thoughts on. Okay, so everybody in the room is here for a public hearing item, right? Okay. Okay, great. Okay, then we want to seek to have a motion to approve the agenda, or make any alterations or anything like that.
So, Madam Chair, two things. One, the date says 16th on our agenda, when in fact today is the 15th.
The 15th, so we need
And
to
then we
make
would
that
like
change.
to add to the agenda an item clarification of motions.
Clarification of motions, and I would propose that clarifications of motions be item 7.5, just ahead of the public hearings.
7.5.
Change date. Okay, any other additions to the agenda? Additions or changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, I would seek a motion to approve as amended.
Motion.
second.
Go ahead.
Motion and support.
Yes.
Ted moved and Mary supported. Okay, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. We have our agenda passed. Okay. Same sort of process in relation to our approval of the May 18th minutes. There were a couple changes that had been noted. Item number 7 in our minutes did not have John Cranmer's name next to that first movement.
Pardon me,
Go ahead.
but it's 9A.
Oh, 9A, move to appoint, move to approve. Okay, 9A, not in 7. Okay, and then we missed a word, we missed the word "and" on the second page. What would this be? This would be item 9B. It should read, the second sentence on the second page there, M. Zelinski will be giving that information to the township clerk for publication in the Record Patriot and will be mailing letters to all interested parties. Continue. Release that one. And then just a typo on the last page in item 11, the acronym for the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy. The acronym is EGLE. It's often called EAGLE. It was written out as EAGLE, probably a autocorrect. So we're going to update that to the actual acronym, the EGLE acronym instead of EAGLE, the word EAGLE. So those are the updates that I'm aware of. Are there any additional updates to make? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 18th, 2026 as amended.
I'll move.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
No opposed, so that passes. The next item on our agenda is the conflict of interests. Are there any conflicts of interest that need to be identified this evening with commissioners?
There's conflict of interest with the O'Hearn Pest Control zoning reamendment. Subject property abuts my daughter's property.
Okay. Thank you for identifying that.
And as such, I won't deliberate, discuss, or whatnot on that particular matter.
You'll abstain from that matter in its entirety. Okay, thank you for that. Any additional conflicts of interest from the commissioners? No? Okay. Okay, so then we are on to the inserted item 7.5, the clarification motions. So I just wanted to, as the brand new chair of this commission, this being my very first meeting sitting in this seat, I just wanted to make a statement that we have discovered that our ordinance requires public hearing before acting on special land use permits. Because our earlier votes on 2 of the applications that came before, that are in front of us tonight, they came before the hearings, before the public hearings. Our decisions, our deliberation was procedurally premature. We shouldn't have done it in that order. Tonight, we're correcting that. We're correcting that error and holding the required hearings this evening. We're going to be making new decisions, maybe the same, maybe different, but we will be considering all factors and making new decisions consistent with our ordinances and state law. So at this time, I would move that the Planning Commission clarify the record regarding the performance auto application for parcel 1008-009-00730 on Honor Highway, and determine that the commission's prior action, which was taken on March 23rd, 2026, purporting to approve the special use permit, was procedurally premature because Article 12 requires public notification and Planning Commission review and approval following the required special land use process, including a public hearing. Therefore, the prior approval is declared null and void, and the application shall be considered anew following the properly noticed public hearing. So that's a motion that I move.
I second.
Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Yeah. Okay. Then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? No. Then that motion is approved, has passed. Okay. And then exactly the same language, but relating to the Heart of Lakes motion, I move that the Planning Commission clarify the record regarding the Heart of the Lakes application for parcel 1008-031-00220, located at 15357 Homestead Road, and determine that the Commission's prior action on April 20th, 2026, purporting to approve the special use permit was procedurally premature because Article 12 requires public notification and Planning Commission review and approval following the required special land use process, including the public hearing. Therefore, the prior approval is declared null and void, and the application shall be considered anew following the properly noticed public hearing. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Entertain a second. Any additional comments on that motion? Open for discussion. Okay.
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye as well. And so then no opposed, so that motion passes. Okay. So that moves us to item 8 on our agenda, which is our public hearings. So the way that we're gonna go about this is that we're gonna go one public hearing on one topic, open, comment, and then close. And then we're gonna open on the second topic, and then hear comments, and then close. And then we're gonna open on the third topic and hear comments, and then close, okay? So any person wishing to address the Planning Commission may do so once per public comment period. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and shall be addressed to the chair and not individual commission members or others in the audience. This is a comment/input option. Planning Commission is not required to comment or respond to presenters. Silence or non-response from the Planning Commission should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the Planning Commission. So,
Chair, I'll make the motion.
motion to,
Motion to open the public hearing for special use permit for property ID 08-009-007-30 Performance Auto LLC.
okay, do we have a second?
I will second.
Okay. So that opens the public hearing related to Performance Auto LLC. So is there anyone wishing to address the commission related to Performance Auto LLC.
I would.
Certainly. Would you like to come up?
Monica Feebing, Reynolds Road. I have one question on the property for Performance Auto LLC. Has that property divide been approved? Because there is no parcel -30. Has that division been approved from the parent parcel?
Yes, it has. Thank you. Are there any other public comments in relation to Performance Auto LLC's application? Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing related to that property, that reference property.
I'll motion.
Okay?
I'll second it.
And it is 6:14. Okay, that brings us to public hearing related to special use permit for property ID 08031000220, Heart O Lakes Church. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Okay. So the first thing I'd like to do, now that public, wait, we have a motion and a second. We need a vote. We need a vote on that. All those in favor of opening the special public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. So that passes. We're open. So the first thing I'd like to do in relation to that is just kind of read a statement that we've put together. Before we begin the public hearing on this item, I'd like to note for the record that the Planning Commission has received multiple written submissions from members of the public regarding this application. To date, we've received at least 5 separate letters or emails, with one additional letter expected to arrive in today's mail. All of these written comments express opposition to the proposed use. One citizen has submitted 2 separate emails, including an attachment of approximately 94 pages, which appears here in binder format and on jump drives tonight. All this material includes a complaint to the Benzie-Leelanau District Health Department, literature from the applicant, their website, information from Eagle related to campground legislation and regulation, and correspondence with the fire chief and other agencies. The main concerns raised in these written comments and all of the written comments that we've received include noise, trash and litter, music and hours of operation, sanitation, the impacts on water and sewer services, as well as general public health, safety, and neighborhood quality of life issues. All of these written comments and supporting materials will be entered into the official record of this public hearing and will be kept on file with the township for public inspection. The email versions that we've received include an email from Katerina Stevenson from Eagle that was received on June 5th at approximately 10:27 a.m. We also received an email from Eric Wood on June 9th at 5:09 p.m. We received an email from John Doherty, thank you, on June 10th at 11:47 a.m. Mark Doherty on June 12th at 8:40 a.m. Peggy Case on June 13th at 5:26 p.m. and Matt Heffron and Wendy Foss on June 14th at 8:12 p.m. and one additional written correspondence from Brenda Doherty Doherty, sorry. This evening at about 10 minutes before 6. So those are the items that we have received written. And each letter, email, and supporting document we have received will be considered by the commission as part of our deliberations. And we want to say thank you to those that provided them, and those that have appeared tonight to provide additional input. Your participation in this process is essential. Yeah, and with that, we would like to proceed with public hearing and the discussion on this request.
I believe Peggy sent a follow-up addendum to her email.
That should have been the 13th.
I think that was the one on the 13th.
Okay,
She sent 2 emails. I know that. I just want to
Okay.
clarify that for the record.
I will clarify that for the record.
And I have a
and
copy of the second one, should you have not got it or something like that.
I believe I was citing the amendment, but we can verify in our records that we have both of them in the
Okay,
official record.
Thank you.
Okay. And at this point, is there anyone who would like to address the commission related to the Hardo Lakes Church special use permit?
I think there's several of us. We just need to decide the batting order.
Yeah, whoever wants to step up first. I'm happy to hear it. Just let us know what your name is, and do we formally need their addresses in this sort of meeting? I don't think so. We didn't have it from the first.
Oh, sorry.
Do we?
Usually stated.
Usually state your address? Your address.
Do you want, because like in my case, it would be vacation property up here. Do you want my legal address or or both?
That's a great question.
Well, it's both, and we're covered.
Both, and then we're covered. Yeah, that's good. It's gonna be on the recording, so that way we can write them
Very
both
good.
down and figure out.
We're all learning together.
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Before I start, I haven't officially submitted my letter.
Uh-huh.
Is there a date that you would need that by?
There's not. Well, this meeting. So this meeting is kind of the official
Okay, just that.
public hearing and,
Just,
yeah.
once I receive some more information, I do have a letter, it's just that it changed up a little bit. I
Okay.
don't know, what could I have until tomorrow to submit something? It doesn't have to be tonight.
it does have to be tonight, but
Okay,
your
then that's okay.
comments can
But my
be.
comments will be too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
So I'll go ahead and start the stopwatch. I've got a little stopwatch that tells us when 3 minutes is up. Oh, what's your name?
June Van Buskirk. I'm at the 17 acres right next to the church, which is, I think it's 15381 Homestead Road.
Okay.
And I live on 111 Diversity Drive in Brooklyn, Michigan.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So if I talk fast, because I want my time in here. I just want to say good evening and thank you for all this. I just want to let you know there's an immense amount of family history with the entire 34 acres out here over the years. Our family roots on this land go back approximately 53 years. My sister and her husband, and Chris, we purchased the property from my father, John Hills, last year. And it was just because we wanted to be able to keep these family roots, because now we're down to just the 17 acres. I just want to say, because our family ties, we've always tried to be neighborly. When my father did own the property as a member of the church, the Heart of the Lakes, he would once a year would allow the church to have kind of this camp out and stuff. I do need to address that at some point, because to honor our father, we were still going to allow the church to have some people when they have their camp out. But I have to say, as of right now, I had no idea that their members were being charged a fee this year. They were going, they could go on their website and book it onto our property. We've never been approached. My father no longer owns his property, even though, of course, we let him use it. So I want to go on public record that we are no way allowing that, because that alone, it would be too many campers on that property. I just want to say I stand here alongside with other families and neighbors, the residents on these homes, and everything that John has said and the others, we completely agree with. We completely oppose it. a lot of this, I guess I just don't have to say. I just want to say, and even according to the Inland Township Master Plan draft, revision summary, that they mandated 2.5 acre and low density definition. And it's just to put 43 campsites on less than 6 acres, because they don't have 8 acres, it's 6 acres. They do not, what's that?
8 acres.
Not a conversation.
Right, but I need to know where the other two are then. But it is not at the end of Hempstead Road. They're in the middle of our residentials. But our community is already experiencing severe disruptions from this that's been allowed over the last several years, that we didn't realize that they could, that there were so many things wrong with it. But currently, the property has 10 or more campers that are sitting there permanently year-round. And so that's not even, it's not allowed, even under a temporary permit. Temporary is only 2 to 4 weeks. They have these year-round, having that many. During their events, and either other times they use commercial loudspeakers, play our music. It cuts through the woods and across neighboring properties, and it sounded like it was sitting right next door, even though they did turn it down when I asked. We shouldn't have to be self-policing. I had a little video I'd love to play, and you can't hear anything on it. That's what we love. So there's little issues of them coming over and stuff, and I know. But I just want to say that you guys, your special land permit right here, it's in 12.4. The proposed special land use will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, or equipment that would create a substantially negative impact on other conforming properties in the area by reason of traffic, noise, smoke, fumes, glare, odors, and the rest that kind of doesn't go. So, just let me know when my time is up.
Yep,
So,
thank you for your input.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Who's next? Yeah.
Good evening, I'm Matt Heffron. I live with my partner Wendy Foss at 15300 Homestead Road. That is our sole residence, we're there year round. I know that the commission has heard, you've gotten a lot of emails, you've got a wonderful binder, so I'm not gonna get into the individual issues. They've been covered already. To my mind, what it all boils down to is whether or not a 43 site RV campground belongs in a small residential neighborhood. Most of us who live there because it is quiet. The houses are spread out, it's a dead end dirt road, there's virtually no traffic. We can open our windows, hear bird song, it's a great place to live. A large campground is gonna irrevocably change the neighborhood. May through October, up to 43 campers, limited to, I think, 10 people per site. You're talking about a lot of people, even if it's only 100 people, 100 people make a lot of noise, even when they're being quiet. So there, as was mentioned, the previous usage has always been limited, a couple weeks a year. They were here, they were loud, they left garbage behind, but it was only a couple weeks a year, so no one has ever made a formal complaint. It isn't like the neighborhood has changed around the church and we're preventing them from doing something they've done in the past. It's the church that wants to increase their activities, and they've increased them to the point where the neighborhood is no longer willing to accept those activities. I understand why they want to have a camp up here. It's gorgeous. Benzie County is beautiful. I think just based on the character of our neighborhood and the pre-existing community, I just feel like they've chosen the wrong spot to establish their camp. Thank you.
Well, my name's Jack here. I live at 3399 Seminole Trail, Monroe, Michigan. I honestly don't know the address of my property, but I own the property that's directly behind the church campground. And there's an easement that goes from Homestead Road about a quarter mile back in to my property that goes around the church property. So this greatly affects me. I use my property as a vacation property. I get up here about once a month or so, fishing and that kind of thing. But I come up here for peace and quiet, and this is gonna totally destroy that. It is bad now, it's gonna get worse. There's times where there's, teenagers on my property now in the middle of the night waking my family up. That's happened a lot, because they don't know the boundaries. The church put a berm in front of the easement, which has never been moved. I've asked several times, it never happened. So not really a good neighbor, but again, I'm very much opposed to this. This would greatly affect me, right? Maybe more than anybody, because my property is right next to it. So that's my time. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Pros, that property looks like it's 15373.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go. My name is Mark Doherty, co-owner of 15405 Homestead Road. I live at 11524 Linden Road in Fenton, Michigan, full-time. It's one of the listed affected properties where I've spent the last 2 years of my life building my 960-foot dream home on the property I love. I do not support the special land use for the Heart of the Lakes Church to operate a private campground for many reasons. One is the obvious negative effect on natural resources and wildlife. There was an incident where I was out bow hunting before daylight in early October. Then around 8 a.m., music began blaring from the church's property 200 yards away, clearly scaring any wildlife that had been in the area. They are only 2 properties away on 3 sides from state land, to the south, to the east, and the northwest, affecting all users of state land. With their noise from air horns, bells, and PA systems, to the smell of 18-plus fires, inadequate sanitation, and 47-site campground, they are proposing won't go unnoticed by myself or my neighbors. I don't believe that any of their proposal aligns with Inland Township's master plan of preventing inappropriate development of conflicting land use. In section 12.4 of the Inland Township ordinance, it most notably does not meet B, which is the proposal special land use will not involve uses, activities, process materials, or equipment that will create a substantially negative impact on the natural resources of the township or the natural environment as a whole. Or C, the proposed special land use will not involve uses, activities, processes, or materials, equipment that will create a substantially negative impact on the conforming properties in the area by reason of traffic, noise, smoke, fume, glare, odors, or the accumulation of scrap material that can be seen from any public highway or adjoining land owned by another person. Also, their plan meets none of 13.4 site plan requirements, as no engineered stamped site plan was submitted, not even the drawing that they have on their website. Only an 8-year-old pavilion permit that I would best call sketch plan. And then in 13.6, other objections include to avoid overcrowding of population, to preserve property values and natural resources. And as one final point, there's Turtle Lake Campground, a 461 site campground 1 mile down the road, and 8 more campgrounds within a 15-mile radius, making there no need for this one in the middle of a rural residential neighborhood. Thank you.
I'll go. My name is Brenda Doherty. My father and uncle co-own 15405 Homestead. I personally reside at 11403 Reed Avenue in Mount Morris. I'm a 3rd-generation resident of this beautiful town that I love to call a home away from home. This property to me has been rich in history throughout generations with my grandparents, bringing my father and uncle here, raising them to love this town. And it's a property that I hope to pass down to my children one day. However, with the construction of the pines, it raises many concerns for me, for anyone thinking about the next generation to be having land in Thompsonville. Heart of the Lakes, they've taken a fondness to this town that I don't fault them for. It's the same reason my grandparents bought this property here decades ago. However, since they've taken this fondness, it's severely diminished my personal safety on my property, as on more than one occasion, I've had several strangers wander onto my family's land at odd hours of the night, interrupting quality time I spend with my family, whether it's using the telescope, hunting, or just simply enjoying the nature around us. Now, even just walking between cabins has me overly concerned. I also have several concerns about the way the land has been handled in the past, including sanitation, infrastructure deficiencies, noise at unreasonable hours, and the inevitability of substantial deforestation if this passes. This will have a direct impact on the wildlife surrounding these properties and on the ability for these owners to enjoy their land in whatever ways they see fit, whether that be to hike, to hunt, or simply enjoy the nature that comes with the territories up north. I've heard the arguments of how this will boost the city and support local businesses, and that I completely agree. These local farms and businesses should be supported. It's the reason this place is home. And that is exactly why I urge everyone to support the local churches that already exist here, whether that be Homestead Community Church, Fresh Wind Christian Community and their 2 locations, Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, Landmark Missionary Baptist, and so many others. I also urge you to support these existing campsites like Turtle Lake, Platte River, Veterans Memorial State Park, and again, so many others. A quote directly from Heart of the Lakes website. Salvation is a gift from God, but we must accept it. So I come here today and ask that you please accept and respect the salvation of this land. And for those who are unaware, salvation outside of a religious context means to be preserved from danger or dire destructive situations. I ask this not just for my family and me, but for the people who are here and enjoy the seclusion, the nature, the peace, and for the future generations who will come here and to enjoy it for the same reasons my family has for the last 50 years.
Wanna go? All right, my name is John Doherty. I reside at 2166 South Vassar Road, Burton, Michigan. And I'm co-owner of 15405 Homestead Road, my brother Mark, who spoke earlier. So there's no way I can cover this whole binder in 3 minutes, so I kind of made a highlight reel here. First was a point of order. Thank you for correcting the minutes of the previous meetings. And while we're off topic here, I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit 9. That does show that it's 5.99 acres and not 8. First, the application is deficient. Right on the application form itself, it says, refers you to the requirements in ordinance chapter 13. 13.2 tells you what is allowed under a sketch plan. Campground is not listed, so therefore you must go to 13.2B, which requires a site plan. 13.5 spells out the requirements of a site plan. It must be scaled, location of right-of-way, setbacks, which, by the way, they are nowhere near observing. It must be sealed and stamped by a licensed architect, surveyor, or land engineer. None of that's here. This is at best a bar napkin sketch. The booking system. You know, the applicant tried to come into here in March and April, and this is just business as usual. This is a huge expansion over what they've been doing. They've been, because of my health department complaint in 2021, they've been limited to a max of 4 weeks a year. This does away with all that. This is not acceptable. It's going to fundamentally change the neighborhood for the worse. Right off their website, when you add it all up, 544 people, 226 pets, and 1,300 feet of extension cord. That is 20 feet short of a quarter mile of extension cord on 6 acres. That's just insane. Nobody can say that's a good idea. It's a huge fire hazard. 19 campfires, plus additional cooking pits. I've emailed the fire chief. He's expressed concerns with all this. When they start a fire, that whole state forest is gone. There's no plan for full-time on-site supervision. That's ludicrous. Sanitary concerns. Design basis for their septic is a 2-bedroom home, having a 2,000-gallon tank. You do the math, 150 people with a 5-minute shower overwhelms that septic. They've already killed 1 septic on that property. It's linked in my exhibits. They overfilled it. This is a protected watershed. They've already contaminated the ground with sewage. And just the showering goes over. We've yet to flush the toilet once. Without a true site plan, we got no way of knowing what the full intent is. It's insane to move forward with this application that doesn't even meet the qualifications of an application. Churches are not exempt from health code, zoning ordinances, or building permits. By the way, they've pulled no building permits since their pavilion was built. They've electrified all these sites without a building permit. I'd spend the rest of my time walking you guys through the exhibit real quick.
This is the end of the time.
Oh, okay, you did a really good job.
Great job highlighting in the 3 minutes.
Yeah,
That was a great compression.
There's no way I was gonna make it through all this. So.
Very well done, John. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time and appreciate being heard.
come up. Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm actually have vacation property in Homestead Township that we have had in our family for many years as well. I am very concerned about the fire risk.
Do you have an address?
I can give you my home address. We have a parcel number for our property right here.
Okay.
But my home address is 12096 Wilson Road in Otisville, Michigan, Genesee County. And we are off Cinder Road.
Off Cinder Road, okay.
So this is my concern. We're using all these extension cords. I read on their website that they're not going to have somebody there while they have all of this camp out thing as somebody who's supervising the campsite. I'm worried about fire risk with this. My property's not that far away, and I plan on building my retirement home here, and I don't want to lose it because they don't feel supervision is important at a campground where they're gonna have fire and kids are just obviously wandering all over on other people's property. I am disgusted at the fact that they came here and misled what they're doing to you guys as a planning commission, because that's what they did. They came up here and said that pretty much nothing was going to change in what they were doing. And when you go to their website, it is drastically changed. And when you go to their plan, that is not what they are doing right now. I am very upset with this and that they thought that they could come in here and hoodwink a planning commission board by doing this and that nobody was gonna stand up. And to say that the entire community around them was okay with this, you're hearing from multiple neighbors who are not okay with this. They came here and essentially lied to you guys about what they were gonna do and that everyone was okay with it. And I guess just as someone who is in the neighboring township, I wanna make sure that their lack of safety concern about being in the forest and having all this electrical cords and not having, obviously, if they didn't pull permits, it hasn't been inspected what their power usage is there. And if it's even safe what they're doing. So I have a lot of concerns about this. So I guess I really hope that you guys, since they don't seem to care if they're following ordinances or lying to you guys, actually take a good look at what their plan is and see what they're really trying to do here. Thank you.
My name is Sabrina King. My parents own property in Benzie County. Actually, according to the Michigan Open Meetings Act, which I do suggest that you guys read up on, nobody here has to give their address. Benzie County. I have a lot of concerns with this, mainly around the transparency aspect of this application. As was already said, these applicants came in and gave you guys a completely different story than what is actually being done. There is no site plan. There is a complete lack of respect to the ordinances of this area. The rules, regulations, and laws of this area. These are ordinances that were set down that are in the master plan for this area. And there is a complete disregard for it. Not only a disregard for the law, but also for the neighbors. Supposedly they came and they have a great relationship with the neighbors. From what you've heard tonight, is there a great relationship with the neighbors? Because that's not what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is that everyone who surrounds this applicant's land does not agree with the expansion, the plan that has come to light, because these people have done digging, because transparency was not given, so digging has had to be done. There are hazards here, severe ones, about safety not only to the neighbor, but to the people that will be staying on this land. They are putting not only themselves, but other people at risk for miles. This is a severe issue, and I really, really hope that as elected officials, that this community put in power to protect them from things like this, you really take a look at this and really evaluate whether this is good for the community and whether this really adheres to the established laws and the safety of this community. Thank you.
I'm here. Chris Bowman, I'm at, 15381, right next door to it. So we got the full length of their property buttoned up against our property. Jack's easement goes through our property, which he's related, so it's all good. We live in a subdivision down in Brooklyn, Michigan, 10 minutes away from my house. I get away from that shit to come up here for the peace and quiet. I don't like to get woke up by a loudspeaker, by a radio playing, and sure, it might be 8 o'clock in the morning, but I like to sleep in when I'm up here. It's great sleeping. So that's a problem. But if they put these 43 sites on here, there's no boundaries on where they can go. Our property is all open. So there's nothing stopping them from just coming over to us. There's nothing, no berm like at Turtle Lake, no big berm, no fencing, no nothing. So unless we're up here every weekend to babysit, which I'm, I got nothing. But, so that's my biggest complaint too, is if you guys do agree to this, can you at least make them put up a 6-foot privacy fence all the way around it or a 6-foot berm on their property, not on ours, to let the campers know, hey, this is all you got. Just this 6 acres, 5.9, whatever it is. Because otherwise than that, we've had them in the easement. Jack's almost had it. I mean, Jack had to honk the horn to get him out of the driveway so he could leave. So, and then they got upset because we told them not to play in the easement. So here now, we gotta fight our own property to tell them to get off of it. So that's my, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Sean. I'm a Benzie County landowner. Everybody's pretty much covered everything I was gonna say. So I'll wait everyone's time. I think that is very apparent. I'm just here to log my disapproval of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments for the record?
I think, my turn. So, is it okay if I stand here?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So first, as neighbors, I'm a representative of Harbor Lakes, so sorry I'm addressing you, but I know there's been a lot of.
Sir, what's your name?
I'm Cody Moorhead. I apologize.
Cody,
So,
it's nice to meet you.
I'm from Brooklyn, Michigan. I'm the associate pastor at Harbor Lakes Church, and I'll tell you that information tonight has been invaluable. It's been really helpful, I think, for me and for our organization to know some of the concerns that our neighbors have. First and foremost, I think it's important for you as the commission to hear, and really for everybody in this room, that our intention is never to be bad neighbors. The first and foremost, we want to be good neighbors. And some of the things that have been brought up are really good for us to evaluate and know so that we can make policy regarding how we can be better neighbors in this community. You've all said it, this is a beautiful, beautiful community that we are so fortunate to have property in and to be a part of. And our church's tradition for the last 35 years has been to go camping together. And as I believe June mentioned, her father, John Hills, had allowed us for years to occupy that property. And when the opportunity came for us to have the neighboring property, he sold it to us because he believed in what we were doing. And so we'd like to continue on in that fashion. As far as what we're asking for, and I think some of what is, I think some of the concern, and I would be concerned if I was an individual here as well, is that we're gonna expand and become a campground. And that's not the purpose of us applying for that permit. The purpose is every time that we have a meeting, we have to apply for specialized licensing.
And so what we're trying to do is figure out a way to lessen the cost of us using our property up here. It becomes very cumbersome every time that we have to go and get extra water tests done and extra approval for the use of that site. And so the purpose of us asking for that is not to expand into a larger campground, not to get more acreage, not to put more campsites on. I know that 10 can fit on a campsite. If any of you have ever camped, you know that's way too many. So we are never going to come anywhere near even a fraction of what the capacity of what a legal license would give. We simply want to be able to use this as a retreat for our families that want to come up and get a slice of this wonderful township and what it has to offer. And so as far as what it looks like, I know permits have been brought up. We have gone through extensive processes to get electrical permits, to get building site permits approved, sewage permits, to make sure that everything that we're doing is above board. We are continuing to go through that process. And so really, I believe what the intention of this special use permit is for us to have a letter that allows us to move forward so that we can continue the process to become better neighbors and to make the property better. And so when it comes to the use of the property, we have been figuring this out along the way, just like anybody would who's using their property as a vacation property. And we just so happen to have a large family of people that like to utilize this area and be part of what's going on here. And so my plea to anybody who's here in this county would be that we'd love to be good neighbors, and we'd love to get that feedback from you guys. We'd also like to know, we really would like to be approved so that we don't have to continually pull temporary permits. That is the sole reason for us applying for this special use permit. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just piggyback a little bit. My name is Penelope Rabinski. I'm June's sister. So we've had I think, a good relationship with the church through the years. And just so you know, that's 15381. So we're right next to it, so in case you forgot who June is. It was my uncle's property. They did purchase it from my uncle, not my father, just that little bit of a correction. So my biggest concern is, like he said, that he would like to have the opportunity to not have to get these individual permits every year for their big camp out, because I could imagine that is troublesome. My concern is in the future, we all know that churches change, people change hands, and then we're stuck like who's gonna have it next? So that is, definitely my number one concern is who would have it in the future, and is that really their intention? Because I feel like I don't know what the difference is between a permanent and a not permanent variation. So that would be what I want to know. What I don't know is, even though that's their intention right now, how do we know that no one would ever change it in the future to be just a full-time facility? So that's all. That's my big concern, but thank you.
May I ask a question? It's a procedural.
Okay.
Is it available in the public record? Can we learn whether this special use permit would transfer to a new owner? Do you know if that's spelled out, or is it owner specific?
I think they go with the property. Special use permits go with the property.
So it would transfer.
In the event of a sale.
Okay, thank you.
That's my understanding of special use permits. Okay. And this gentleman over here is Mike. He's our zoning administrator.
Thank you.
Okay. Any additional comments?
Dayton Post Fire Chief, Inland Township Fire Department. With the site use plan, they have to follow recommendations of NFPA 1194, which specifically states under RV parks and campgrounds. Part of that, within that, location and arrangement of each recreational vehicle park and campground shall meet the approval of the chief of the authority having jurisdiction. A site plan shall be supplied to the fire, emergency medical services, EMS, and law enforcement agencies having jurisdiction. I have not received anything stating that. Also, means of access for emergency responders shall consist of roadways, fire lanes, parking lot lanes, vacant camping unit stands, or a combination thereof, and shall be provided to all structures. So basically a road going to every campsite or around the whole thing so they can get to it. That road also has to meet my apparatus to go. So 15-foot wide, gravel, right? It can't just be the regular land and you just drive, make a 2-track. So my trucks are over 67,000 pounds. So that's a problem. We had one down the road. He was doing that. I made him make a dirt road, gravel road all the way around it so we can access it. So even if they vote yes, there's gonna be limitations on what I will make you have to do, okay? Also, if you have 300 people there, which is a possibility, my problem is if there's an emergency there, my truck's trying to get in, your truck's trying to go out in that same lane. So there's gonna be, need to have 2 access ways to go in. So those are my requests and my requirements that I would make my recommendations to the board. There's a whole book, it's huge. Some little things you're not gonna have to meet, but fire extinguishers, that kind of stuff posted. You gotta have, evac route plan based, and then every camper's gotta get one of those and you have to have it posted. So there's a lot of rules and regulations within that. Some things I can look past, some things I can't. Okay, that's one thing. I'd also let the board to know in the last 5 years, I think there's been 2 calls out to that and they've both been EMS. So there really hasn't been a medical or a fire problem to that location.
Any other public comment at this point? I did hear that one of our planning commissioners has a clarifying question.
Yes, what can I direct it to him?
You can direct it to me
you,
and
to
then
him?
I'll ask the
Okay, so
attendee.
for Cody, he mentioned that there were electrical and sewage permits in process. I just was curious where they are in the process.
That's a good question. Cody, would you mind responding to the question at hand, which is where your permits that you had referenced are in the process?
Absolutely. So we're working to pull the permits that we already have for sewage. We do have our electrical permits from Benzie County, so I brought a copy just to make sure. And as far as where we've run electric and how we've run it, we've all of that has been insured and licensed by electricians at I want to say Blue. It's up here. Cherryland Electric actually came and did the inspection on all of our electric. So we have documentation of all of those, and they ran to each of our sites which were approved through the township before we put in our electric. So we actually have documentation of I believe every visit. So as an organization, we have to keep a pretty good record of what we've gone through to make sure that we're.
I'm curious what the date is on that electrical permit, and does it cover the proposed sites as well as what's already there?
Did you say you brought a copy for us?
I did, absolutely.
That'd be great.
So
And sewage also?
I do not have our sewage permits with me. I do know that we did.
You can find the sewage permits as an exhibit.
You have it?
There.
Sewage
So-
permits and-
And pay attention to where it is on the basis to the bedroom home.
Okay.
And those,
Pass
I
that
believe
around.
those
We'll
are,
get
those are
those in.
approved, and those site plans have not changed. Those are approved in, I believe, 2021, and we have not, we've not run any new electrical since then, so.
Are there any additional clarifying questions from the commissioners here?
Would I be able to clarify real quickly? I apologize.
Sure, you got a minute left.
So, we, one of the things is, we continue to use the property and will continue to use the property in our current function. What we'd like to do is make sure that we're better neighbors in the process. And so, I know that some of the upheaval is because of the amount of people or when we come up with large groups. And so, for us, our heart is never to be a burden to our surrounding neighbors. And so, I would just say that if there's things that we are able to do better, you know, we are welcome and open to those discussions and what we can do, you know, as an organization as well, so. And I've heard a lot of it tonight, so I really appreciate that feedback, so thank you.
Okay. There's no additional public comment. I would entertain a motion to close the, public hearing related to Heart of Lakes Church.
I move that we close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
It's 6:50. Thanks. I got a backside too.
Need a vote. Need a vote.
We need a vote. Any further discussion on the motion to close the public hearing? No. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
None opposed. So the public hearing for the Heart of Lakes Church special use permit is closed at this point. That moves us down to the public hearing related to the zoning amendment for property ID 0801 or 010-02210. This is related to O'Hearn Pest Control. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing related to that item.
I'll motion.
Second it.
Any additional discussion on the open? All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
None opposed, so we'll go ahead and open that public hearing for the zoning amendment related to O'Hearn Pest Control. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the commission in relation to that item? Come on up.
Hello, I'm Olivia Nelson. I am the owner of 2368 Lanes Lane in Inland Township. So my southern border of my property is adjacent to the northern border of O'Hearn. My first concern is pesticide and chemical storage. So the proposed business is a pest control company. And one of my primary concerns is the storage and handling of pesticides, herbicides, and other potentially hazardous chemicals on a property that is currently located within a residential area. So I've actually already wrote this letter out and sent it to the zoning administrator. I'm just reading it here publicly. While I understand that pest control companies are heavily regulated and required to follow safety standards, accidents can and do occur. This parcel backs up to Stanley Creek, which feeds into the Platte River, and the neighboring property owners deserve to know whether pesticides or other chemicals will be stored on site, the quantities that will be stored on site, what spill prevention and containment measures will be in place, and whether any mixing, loading, or transfer of chemicals will occur at this location. These questions are particularly important because any incident could affect neighboring properties and our groundwater. Concern number 2, future commercial uses. So the zoning request before this commission is not simply approval of a pest control company. It is a request to permanently change the zoning classification of the property from residential to commercial. Businesses change ownership, properties are sold, companies relocate. And if this rezoning is approved, future owners may be entitled to operate other commercial uses permitted within that zoning district, which may have impact far greater than the current proposed use. Before approving this request, I believe the commission should carefully consider what other commercial uses could legally occupy the property in the future, whether those uses would be compatible with the surrounding residential properties, and the long-term effect on nearby homeowners and property values. Concern number 3, appearance of predetermination. So I also have concerns regarding the fact that the applicant has already listed this address as the business location on their website. So I included a screenshot of that in my letter. This creates the appearance that the outcome of this process is already expected or assumed. So what is this hearing for then? If they already just assumed that they're going to get this, they built the building, it's there. The address is listed on their company website. Is this just a formal matter? So it raises questions about whether they have already represented this location as an approved business site before the township has completed its review and before neighboring property owners have had an opportunity to participate in the public process. So a recommendation or a couple recommendations. So consider a conditional rezoning. If the commission determines that some form of approval is appropriate, I respectfully request that it consider a conditional rezoning rather than an unrestricted commercial rezoning. Potential conditions may be limiting the property to office and dispatch functions only, prohibiting outdoor storage of materials, restricting the storage and handling of pesticides and other chemicals, restricting future commercial uses without additional township review. So such conditions would help balance the applicant's business and their needs with the rights and expectations of neighboring homeowners who purchase property in an area zoned for residential use.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional public comment in relation to the O'Hearn Pest Control zoning amendment application?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is William Sharp. My wife and I live at 2367 Langs, which is at the southeast corner of the property in question here. Olivia did a really good job saying what I was going to say, so I second it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that as an antidote to help you understand my point of view. I owned a business. I acquired it from a guy who put an underground storage facility in for gas. Many years went by, the guy was deceased, the tank leaked awfully. Okay, and I was, as the right thing to do, the person who cleaned it up. Gasoline got in the groundwater, it got in the water, it got in the aquifer. It was a mistake by this guy. It was an error, okay? But I did the right thing. I cleaned it up. He was long deceased, and it was expensive. 23,000 yards of soil got taken to a land facility to store it. Okay, it just about broke me. My point of all that is that it was an accident, and accidents happen. Okay, as far as a facility, you know, that has chemicals on site, you know, there can be a natural disaster, there can be an unintentional personal cause of something happening. Nonetheless, it gets on the ground, it gets in the groundwater, it gets in the aquifer. The property that I was talking to you about still has functions that you can't have anything going on it because there was gasoline in the ground. There's permanent monitor wells. Stanley Creek is between us and that property. It can migrate water anywhere from that point. When we bought our property 7 years ago, I did my due diligence because of my background and my history to make sure that the zoning all around us did not have what's being proposed here. I put my life savings into this house, and now I feel it's being jeopardized by, you know, I'm an old guy. I've had some experience in my life that can tell me what can happen, and it's not a fairy tale. So with that, I wish you all a good evening. Thank you.
My name's Chris Carnes. I live at 18047 Virginia Circle. I believe just to the north of the property, northwest. I just have a question. I'm not sure if this is the right place to ask it, but I see all of my neighbors around me have been notified and I got nothing. I wasn't part of the notification at all. I'm wondering why. and if I need to be notified, if I even need to be here. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Those notifications typically go out to property owners within 1,000 feet of any side.
These are people, one side of me, to the other side of me, behind me, in front of me, not me.
Okay,
That's,
we'll take a look at that.
that's why I'm asking.
It literally goes all the way around his house.
Hi, I'm Nicole Dewey. I live at 18071 in Virginia Circle. Have the residential subdivision by Gray's Evergreen. Private area, very small, which is nice and we love it, okay? Our circle, which I have here in our map, it's quiet. Pretty much out of like the 20 or so houses that are located in our circle, in our sub, 14 of which have small children, like not even teenagers at this point. Okay, some of which with special needs. Okay, so my concern is, first of all, I don't want the noise pollution. I don't want the contaminants to potentially come out. I don't want to have to fear for the water I drink or what my son is going to take a bath in if I have the chemical plant next to it. But what really bothers me and what I'm hoping we could probably figure out maybe together is why I printed off a map too of the commercial property across the road and on the corner of our street. Okay, highlighted in green is where we have the chemical property going in. My issue is why wouldn't that property itself be zoned commercial like the rest of it? And if you look at this other map that we have, okay, why? If that is what we're dealing with over here, why do we want to rezone everything to a commercial from our residential property in this circle? Why does it need to go that far? And why should I be concerned, I guess, about other businesses coming through? Could they potentially take that property, that line right there, and come through and make a pathway into our subdivision? Then I have to worry about all the kids. So my biggest issue is actually the zoning ordinance that you guys have created. I do not think that that is appropriate if it wants to be commercial. The biggest thing would be, why can't that particular lot in itself be the commercial thing? And why does it have to go all the way through our neighborhood? I just don't understand, and why we need to worry about that, why all the kids in the neighborhood need to worry about a pest control company. I want to live in a small, beautiful little area and not have to worry about all the other stuff. So I would like the zoning to be potentially looked at to be different. That is not fair to come all the way into from there. From the highway, all these other buildings on the opposite side, the buildings right next to it, commercial property. All of this coming into our neighborhood, that's not okay, you guys. That's not okay.
My name's Kevin O'Hearn. I own the property in question. I feel like there's some misrepresentation going on here. It's not a chemical plant. We don't have buried gasoline tanks in the ground. And we have we're not endangering any handicapped kids in the neighborhood. We follow every EPA restriction with everything we do. There is no mixing on site with what we do. I want everyone to know that. My trucks carry water. That's all that's in them. Those big, the 100-gallon tank in the back is water. All the mixing that we do is on site in our customers' driveways. Back in the day, when we used to pull the hose around everything, we would use that big tank and pre-mix. That's gone away because of technology and electronic backpack sprayers and different techniques. So we don't have to have 100 gallons of product mixed at a time. So All we're hauling around is water. The amount of product we have in our shop could fit on that shelf. It's all in locked, durable containers. There's catch basin underneath a plastic tote, basically. If something was to spill, it gets contained. Again, that's a pest control company right there, that building. I'm not afraid of that building or what's leaking out of it. They're all over. There's contaminants everywhere. I've been doing this for 26 years. This is my 17th year in business. We support 8 other families that work for us. And we take every legal precaution we can to make sure not only our safety, but the surrounding area safety. So, again, I want you to know that we're doing everything we can by the book.
Can I ask him a question? Is that allowed?
Not in the public hearing.
Get in the parking lot.
Okay.
You are more than welcome to make your own public comment.
Well,
If you would like to change positions and stand up and be a part of the public hearing, you're welcome to do so. We would welcome that.
My name is Melissa O'Hearn. I also own or co-own the property in question. I would just like to state, we did not build a building. We bought a property with a building on it. So I did not go forward and just build a building without this new zoning. It was on the property. So thank you.
Okay. Are there any additional public comments related to the O'Hearn property?
I'm Susan Sharp. I just wanted to note that I did send a letter in. I don't know the other one you said you talked about what.
Correct. Yes, that is included in our package. Thank you very much for pointing that out.
Can I also add one thing real quick?
If you'd like to come back up. You had.
The zoning was zoned rural residential, which all my research before buying the property says and allows a small business on the property. So I did not buy a residential community or residential property and now trying to zone it commercial. Almost all the adjacent properties around here are all commercial.
Take up too much of your time. My name is Michael. I live in Virginia Circle. They may have everything contained in there. You're not mixing and everything like you said. Sorry, I'm not a great orator.
If you direct your comments to the
Yes.
commission.
But it doesn't mean that unfortunate things happen. If their business goes belly up, they leave. Doesn't mean the next guy's gonna do what they're supposed to be doing. It doesn't mean that, again, hopefully not, doesn't mean the place doesn't catch on fire and then all of that stuff is burning too. And all of that's gotta go somewhere. Going right into the neighborhood. Now it's brought up that you want to rezone that for the commercial business. Why are we not just doing that spot? Y'all are control of that. You can do just a lot. You don't have to go all the way into the neighborhood. I have to say, y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
What
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, what is this extra lot?
Yeah, well, I'm confused on what exactly was trying to be
At this point, we're gonna open it to clarifying questions. If there's no other, public comment. We're gonna open it to clarifying questions from the commission. One of the clarifying questions you had was the map. You wanted to know the source of the map, is that right?
I was curious when they were talking about the commercial going, are you referring to the master plan or the future use land map?
I think that was directed to Miss Nicole Dewey, is,
Yes.
I think a couple people said that the commercial was going into the neighborhood.
That's right. Yeah, that's why most of us from Virginia Circle are here, because we don't wanna be zoned as commercial, or we wanna stay residential. We all got the letters and are really just bent out of shape because things are gonna change for us, which there's no need. All the other businesses on that stretch, when I pulled it from the Onyx website, are all just those properties across the road. And then right next to it, we have the church, another business that's already, because this is the corner, that's commercial. So why wouldn't their O'Hearn's business that they want to put in just be commercialized in their specific lot? And why is it coming all the way from like your guys' property?
So-
They're trying to rezone it all the way up.
Miss Dewey, the request in front of us is to rezone one property,
One parcel.
one parcel.
Gotta do a lot better job handing that information
Yeah, I have no
out.
idea what
Yeah.
Because
this
every
extra
person
stuff
here
is.
is under the impression you're rezoning a whole neighborhood.
Okay.
From the
Yep, that's.
letter that we received, and that's why we're all freaking out about it.
No, it's just
Our little
property.
sliver next to all the other.
You do you. Don't do the whole neighborhood in the back.
I want,
Deal.
can I see that? Where did you get that?
Great clarifying question.
Thank you for sharing that. 'cause
Thank you for the clarifying.
it's a little lighter.
I wonder why everybody's so mad.
Let's do.
Yeah, I'll give it back. Can I just see it? Thanks.
Oh, he's got it.
So what's?
Okay, so we will, at this point, do we have any additional public comments for the public hearing? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, this has got us all up in arms. She's saying, so just clarification, you're saying you're zoning a commercial property, I'm sorry, residential to commercial, and that's just the one for their business.
So the application for special use permit, that is in front of us.
I know, I don't know why I'm so mad.
To rezone property address 18272 Honor Highway, parcel number 100801002210 from residential to commercial. That is the request in front of us. One parcel, one property.
There was a notification sent out to several of the neighbors. I didn't get one, but my property number was listed on that, but I didn't get the notification, but several did, several didn't. And that's where I think the misinterpretation came in. Why was some of our property listed, and what did our property have to do with any of this? And that's why we're here and confused and. Anyway, you've made that clarification. It's not any of us. I don't know what that notification was all about, and I don't know why my property was listed on it. Can you explain that?
I can't off the top of my head explain that, but I can definitely look into it, and find out exactly where notifications were sent from the township and, what that notification stated.
Okay.
So, yes, we can look into that.
Okay.
Very spot, very strange.
Oh, okay. We have a clarifying question for Mr. O'Hearn, if you're open to it. The question is, what types of inspections you might undergo as part of, you cited EPA regulations and things like that.
Well,
Do
just
you
everything that we do
inspect?
has to be like within accordance of the label. So every product that we have, and to be honest with you, we run like 2 products, so. It's just, we don't have any inspections, but we do go, I'm certified, I go to school, we do extra you know, learning stuff to better ourselves and, by following all the rules and regulations, you know, within our, of how we take care of and dispose of like a container or, everything we do has to be triple rinsed, punctured, you know, put into a, you know, a receptacle, obviously. There is no, like, anybody that comes around and inspects it, you know what I mean, what we're doing, it's all, I guess, in good faith, I mean, that's kind of how.
Do you have site, excuse me,
Do you have, splash guards or, you know, safety precautions around where your mixing containers are, things of that nature?
So, again, there is no, the mixing is.
On site?
Yes, it's on site, so there's no splash guards or anything, obviously, other than
Okay.
that. Shop is also new to us, you know, we moved in November, so we're been, you know, kind of waiting for today to, you know, put our foot down a little bit, but, yes, we can absolutely have a site plan, a safety plan, there's safety data sheets that we have all that type of stuff. We can have a, you know, a plan in place. If a guy, you know, at work obviously was supposed to, got something in his eye, what's the proper procedure to eye wash or stuff like that? Yes, we have those types of things. Gonna get better at it, you know, we used to, rent where our last shop was, we were renting, so, this is a place that I'm trying to, you know, make a real, to make a home. So all these things that you're talking about, you know, potential eye washing station or something like that. Yeah, absolutely open to all that. Is it in place? Is everything in place right now? No. I mean, we're doing everything, but we can go the extra mile if that's what you're asking, you know, but yes.
Clarifying questions?
if a leak happened in one of their containers, is there something that will contain it?
Every truck has a spill kit. Okay.
How about just in your shop in general, if one of your tanks punctured a leak, can you retain that on your property?
Well, I guess I'd have to know what tank. The tank is water, remember that?
Water.
No, just talking about your chemicals.
Okay. If
Whatever
something-
small amounts, can you say you only had 2 chemicals?
Yep.
So how big are those containers
They're
on
in
your
gallon
facility?
jugs.
Gallon
Everyone's
jugs.
in a gallon jug, so individual gallon jugs. So imagine a shelf with a bunch of gallon jugs on it. Underneath it is a plastic
That's what I was asking.
container, okay? So if, let's say, something was to, a container was to break up on the shelf and it was to leak, it all gets catch. It's a big catch
That's what I
basin
was asking
underneath
for.
it.
But only 1 gallon at a time, right, would leak?
Only 1 gallon at a time.
Okay, that's good, that's all I needed to know.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Is it possible to ask a question or not?
Any additional public comment? Would you like to offer additional comments?
I just was wondering how many gallons there are.
How many gallons are on site?
I would say somewhere probably about 50, 60, it depends on, you know, we get a pallet. But yeah, I mean, if you can think of a 55-gallon drum, you know, we don't have, and obviously they're all in 1-gallon containers, there's no more than that in individual containers.
Okay, any additional questions or comments, public comments for the hearing related to O'Hearn Pest Control? Zoning amendment to change one residential property from residential zoning to commercial. Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close that public hearing.
A motion.
A second.
Any additional discussion on closing? Okay, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. We are closed for public hearing at, oh, that's the wrong, 7:27. Great. I would just make one more statement regarding the sheer volume and number of people that have shown up for this meeting tonight. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for being a part of the process. It really does mean a lot to us as a commission. We'll move forward with our agenda at this point. That moves us into unfinished business, of which item A is the master plan update. Miss Sarah Kirk, you are here, I believe, to give us an update on the master plan. The floor is yours.
So, just so everybody's aware, we're in the 63-day public review process for the master plan. I'm only here tonight to help you guys make sure that you set the public hearing date for the, after the 63 day review period, which will end on June 25th. At that time, traditionally, township would set a public hearing for just sometime after that date. Usually, before, your procedure will be you guys would recommend it to the township board for final approval. So, if you wanna do a format somewhat like you did tonight, just set it for the July meeting. And then would review all the comments that have come in over the 63 days and hopefully recommend it to the township board with any discussion that happens at the public hearing. So that's typical process. If you guys have any questions for me tonight, I'm also here to answer those. And then I don't know if there's any public comments that have been received yet. Here is a reminder to please give them to me and I will compile them for the public hearing. And then that's really all I had tonight on the master plan, just to make sure that we get the public hearing set, because that's important next step.
Thank you, Ms. Kirk. I have not received any public comment on the master plan to date. I don't know that any other commissioners.
Where would that go if there was public comment?
So typically, wouldn't it go to the clerk?
Yeah, we have it going to the, I believe it's going to the township supervisor.
Township supervisor, okay. That would have been in the original posting of the.
Correct.
And release of it. So township supervisor is combining those right now.
So if you don't have any questions for me on that, that's all I had for update tonight.
Great,
Thank you,
thank you, Ms. Kirk. So as far as an action item from the commission, would we like to set I would entertain a motion to set a date for the public hearing of the master plan update, comments on the master plan.
I'll second it.
I'll move that we have the public hearing at the next meeting in July. We should look up that date.
It's the 20th, I do believe.
Okay, on the 20th?
Okay, so we have a motion to.
I'll second.
A motion and a second.
Hearing.
And do we have any additional discussion? I'm fine with that. Okay.
July then?
In July. Then all those in favor say aye, signify by
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Then we will have, we will notice for and have the public hearing related to the master plan update at our next regularly scheduled board meeting, which will be July 20th.
I mean the planning commission meeting, not the board.
Board, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Commission, we are a commission, we are not a board, we are a commission. Commission, sorry.
Not elected, we're not elected.
We're not elected, we are appointed. Okay, next item on our agenda on our unfinished business is discussion of the data center moratorium. The only additional information that I've had since our last meeting is I was actually able to attend the Small Town and Rural Development Conference. It was held out at Crystal Mountain. It's a statewide event hosted by CEDM, which is the, I'm not gonna remember the acronym, but Community Economic Development Association of Michigan, I think is the gist of it.
You hit it pretty good.
they had a full lunchtime panel, with, everyone in attendance. It wasn't a breakout session, it was like everyone in attendance was all about the discussion of data centers. The gist of the conversation there was that, data centers have very specific needs as far as their land use, their water, their electric needs, those sorts of things. And that the vast majority of Michigan will not be able to provide those needs. I guess my thoughts on the matter, that we've been discussing is that we don't have a request in front of us today for a data center. We could put a blanket moratorium out that says, no data centers until we have an ordinance. But then that puts a timeline, a required maximum 6 months for us to come up with that ordinance. Alternatively, we could, if a data center comes, we could at that time put that moratorium in place and give ourselves 6 months. Basically, I see this idea kind of as, do we want to make this our first highest priority? Or do we want to know that we have discussed data centers and we want it on our list, but not necessarily the highest priority with a 6-month deadline? That's kind of my take on where we're at. I don't know if we had any additional learnings since the last time we discussed data center and the possibility of a moratorium.
So Casson Township is going through this because they did have a scare where a piece of property was listed as ideal for a data center. Casson Township, both their board and commission is discussing and moving forward with a moratorium. They're holding a special meeting this Wednesday at the Casson Township Hall, of which I will attend, just that way I can educate myself more on the subject. I'd invite anyone else that wants to go and listen to data center information to go as well, including any of us. It's a public meeting, as long as we don't discuss or deliberate, we can be in the same room together, but I'll be there, so just.
I'd like to know specifically what is needed for a data center.
Right.
Specifically, not generally. So that will take you some time to put back together. Certainly longer than 6 months.
Yeah, that's what we want, design our ordinance.
Around what the actual requirements may
Capacities,
what do they need?
be.
Is there any way that they could come in under a non-disclosure agreement and they have to come in front of us?
They have to come in front of us. They
Right.
would have to come in front of us.
There would also be the building requirement. It would also be not subject to just the building, it would be all of the municipalities, so electrical, water, heat. It would be those.
I do believe we want to stay in front of it.
And
They have a lot more money than what the township would have.
Right, and then that way we can start
Get ourselves into
funneling
trouble.
information into certain areas.
We'll keep working on it.
You know, because inspections are another one of those things that
Definitely.
are being
The
developed
ordinance.
as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Data centers are brand new, so you go down to code off and say, hey, I want you to come inspect my data center. They go, hey, I got a couple questions. So they gotta go around to everybody and talk to everybody. So that would be part of also to the needs, would be also to the code requirements as well.
Okay.
I would just remind the commission that if someone comes and approaches the board, that starts, and whatever ordinances we have on at that time would be the ones that govern the data center. So just be mindful of that, it's not that if they came, then we could go ahead and put one in. We wouldn't be able to, it would be what ordinances are on the books as of that time.
Or do they?
Seek first to understand.
So seek first to understand.
Could I add to your data center discussion as part of the master plan?
Yes, as part of the master
Yes.
plan, that makes sense.
I should have tagged this on to my previous agenda item. But we had talked about the data centers have come up and it's not currently in the master plan. and it should be added. And you
Okay.
guys have discussed it previously. You're discussing it at this meeting procedurally. Since you are discussing it at these meetings, you can keep discussing it ahead of the public hearing. I went through and I did find 3 places where we probably should add a little bit of text in the master plan and then add an action item. We have a list of action items at the end for things that you should do over the your next 5 to 10 year task list, or 1 to 10 year task list. And in that is where you would consider updating your zoning ordinance to include use-specific standards for high-intensity infrastructure uses. You don't specifically call out data centers, but you list them in data centers, server farms, cryptocurrency mining operations, all those types of things. So you address noise buffers and all of that through special land use procedures. So if we just put that little blurb in the master plan, then that gives you guys the opportunity to go back, do that at your discretion, whether it's immediately or within the next 5 years, whenever you want to do it. But then you're covered. So I will just hand this out to you tonight for your review. And if you just want to review it, you can discuss it at the next meeting, all of that. So I brought these for you all.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, can you repeat, what did you say, high intensity?
Yeah, but it's right in there. And I just,
Madam Chair,
You do a really good job.
and I'll just make sure that you're covered.
Well, yeah, we don't, that's what we need.
And so my understanding then is if it's in our master plan as a target for us to have an ordinance,
Correct.
then that would give us the ability to put a moratorium in place, put that 6-month deadline.
Correct, because
in
it shows
place
that you're working on it.
when someone actually approaches us. Okay.
until we get the zoning.
Okay.
So basically you put this text in, but it doesn't start the clock. It just says we're working on
That
it.
kind of gives you like a fallback to say, hey, we've been discussing this.
Okay.
It's not, we don't know what we're doing yet.
Right.
Now we need 6 months to figure it out.
So Ted's comment of, the ordinances are what the ordinances are as soon as, we receive the application would not stand because we would have the language in the master plan that says we're working on this. So we could do a moratorium and it would bump to the top of our list with a 6-month deadline to figure out that ordinance.
Correct. Yeah,
So-
just covers all your bases.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
think
it
that's,
still gives us that, we gotta do something.
Correct.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right,
So,
yeah.
the other thing that Sarah mentioned is, as a commission, we cannot be exclusionary. So we can't say, no data centers allowed in Inland Township.
Yeah.
So we can't be exclusionary.
Yeah, we do not have the legal right to say no, never, not anywhere. We can't do that.
That's what happened with
Thank you, Sarah.
Dollar General.
Yes.
Okay,
Are we voting on language or are we just reviewing?
we're just reviewing this language, so we'll go ahead and review this language. And, if we don't feel like I'm hearing anyone put forward a motion for a moratorium. Can we just
I
review
would
this language?
consider a motion to add this to the master plan though, this language.
Let's discuss that.
Okay.
Is it premature to say that?
I would review it. You could do it ahead of,
July.
have it as an agenda item ahead of.
Have it on the agenda itself, okay.
For July 20?
Okay. So then we'll just continue our discussions about data centers in July. We'll keep that on the agenda. That moves us to unfinished business 9C, which is our land use checklists. Just noting the time, I don't know if we would like to table this item or if we would like to discuss it. This would be the second review of the proposed checklist. How do we want to proceed with this?
I would like to move to table this
Okay.
I'll second it.
till next time, given the time and that we still have another public comment. Business.
Okay, we have a motion to table with a second. Any further discussion on the motion to table? All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
No opposed. We will table the land use checklists, second review of the land use checklists for July.
I did.
John did. Okay, that moves us into our new business, which is the discussion of the special use permits and zoning amendment that are in front of us, the requests that are in front of us. So, new business A is a special use permit for property ID 08009-00730, Performance Auto LLC. So if you guys would pull that out of your packet, it's a whole separate section. There. Okay, so there are two applications in front of us in relation to Performance Auto. The first application that we have is an application for a special use permit for this location. I would call out from our Inland Township zoning ordinance, section 12.4, we do have standards for decision-making. It reads, in considering special land use as a discretionary decision under this article, the statute requires that the ordinance shall specify the regulations and standards upon which those decisions are made. The standards shall be consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance and ensure that the land use activity authorized shall be compatible with adjacent land uses, the natural environment, and the capacities of public services and facilities affected by the land use. The standards shall also ensure that the land use or activity is consistent with the public health, safety, and welfare of the township. The planning commission shall approve or approve with conditions an application for a special land use permit only upon finding that the proposed special land use complies with all of the following general standards. Standard A, the property subject to the application is located in a zoning district in which the proposed special land use is allowed. This is, based on my review, it was, but I don't know for certain.
It's commercial.
It's commercial. Any questions or additional thoughts on that one? Okay, B, the proposed special land use will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, or equipment that will create a substantially negative impact on the natural resources of the township or the natural environment as a whole. Do we know that for sure based on the information we have? One way or the other?
Sure.
So Val,
Yes.
if I may, so in front of the commissioners, what you're looking at, those are my handwritten notes for the decisions that Val is walking through one on one, just so you know, that for each of you, I penciled that and then included it that way, we could walk through each one of the decisions for the special use permit.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned to Val, not saying they're right or anything like that, it's just my thoughts that are noted at in the margin.
So we've got some comments here related to oil spill containment and waste oil storage and some questions and things that we do not understand necessarily what the impact could be on natural resources of the township in relation to this proposed vehicle sales and auto repair. We do have the options of approving or approving with conditions. So if we want to start making a list of conditions, and Ted has provided us a draft of information, things to be addressed in relation to.
Probably need a road around the perimeter of it for the fire marshal.
Okay, so that would probably fall under item E. The proposed special land use will not place demands on fire, police, or other public resources in excess of current capacity. Chief, do you happen to know, since you're here, do you happen to know if you've been able to review the vehicle sales auto repair?
Performance audit.
I have not seen a site plan.
Not seen a site plan.
They didn't know.
Okay.
When they were here before.
So given that we've got at least 2 items on this standards for decision that we cannot answer tonight, we don't have sufficient information to answer. I guess I would entertain a motion to table this and seek additional information from the applicant.
I would make a motion to table this and seek additional information from the applicant and also make sure that the chief gets the site plan ASAP. Is this the site plan that we have here?
Yes. Yes, and that's a site plan review. So I guess, so we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have support? Okay.
I remember this. I remember there was more than.
Okay, so then, why don't we go into just a little bit more discussion in relation to this, to make sure that we are asking for all the additional information that we need, in order to walk through these standards for decision the next time that we meet. That way, we only go back to this applicant one time, and get all the information at that time. So we've got, on B, we've got questions related to oil spill containment, waste oil storage. C is related to, C says the proposed special land use will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, or equipment that will create a substantially negative impact on other conforming properties in the area by reason of traffic, noise, smoke, fumes, glare, or odors, or the accumulation of scrap materials that can be seen from any public highway or seen from any adjoining landowner owned by another person. So, and Ted, it looks like you had raised hours of operation and possible idling cars related to the activities.
Idle cars, scrap
Idle
cars.
Scrap cars. Okay. And in the draft, items to address, that is called out as the second bullet. Do we have any other pieces of information, any other questions that we are gonna need this applicant to answer in relation to the uses, activities, process, materials, or equipment?
Do we need to see their business plan?
What would you be looking for in the business plan? What do you need to know?
Specifically activities.
Activities,
The very first one.
business activity.
So, am I repairing cars that are brought to me? Am I buying cars and repairing them? Am I selling new cars? Do I have a towing service? Does the commission see the need to see a site plan by an engineer? Surveyor.
So I do believe we have a checklist on when that is required and when it is not.
This would detail out the specific uses of the site. This area would be for storage vehicles. This area would be for sales vehicles. This building is a sales office. This building is an auto repair building.
Since parking, shop, and office is what we know.
That would also correspond with the master plan as well.
Okay. So specific information related to the activities that would be available there.
So that would be right here, the proposed special land use to be designed, constructed, and operated and maintained as an commission, so we would need to see what that is.
Okay. Okay. Home service and others. Okay. What other information do we need?
This would be for the fire chief right here.
Can you speak a little louder?
Sure, this would be for the fire chief. We want to know what chemicals will be stored on property.
Chemicals on property.
In other words, will they have, a 200-gallon tank of gas sitting there? If they change oil in a vehicle, where do they take the old oil? There's others, these are just off the top of my head.
Okay.
But he has a specific job to do, and we have to make sure we have things in place for him as well.
Okay.
Especially when we adequately serve both environments. Okay.
Missing site plan items.
With adopted township, okay, that's us too. So that would pretty much take care of it, I think.
Okay. Okay, so we've got a motion to table this and request additional information from Performance Auto LLC in relation to this application for special use permit. We have held the public hearing, so we do not have to renotice that and hold that again. We do have those comments on record as received. So. Do we have any further discussion on the motion to table the application for special use permit discussion or vote? Okay, then all those in favor to table the application for special use permit, signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And no opposed, so we will table to July 20th with full information. Great. I would also entertain a motion, since we tabled the special use permit, the similar, we have similar items related to review of the site plan review. I would also call out that on this one, in section 13.5 of our zoning ordinances,
Clarify which one you're speaking about.
we are on to the Performance Auto LLC application for site plan review.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So the application for site plan review for Performance Auto, based on my review, based on notes that I've seen, section 13.5 shows the requirements for the site plan. that the following information shall be provided with the site plan as indicated unless waived by the zoning administrator, when such information is not applicable. The site plan must be drawn at a scale of 1 inch to 100 feet or less. Required site plan elements shall, not may, but shall include, and then this would be a site plan, so it would be the right-hand column. I guess I would call out item number 8. We don't know the height of these buildings, and that is required. Also, location and type of drainage, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, and other facilities. And then
Number 13.
Number 13, yep. We also do not have number 17, elevation drawings of proposed structures. And the site plan that has been provided is not sealed by a licensed engineer, surveyor, or licensed landscape architect. So this appears to me to be an incomplete application as well. So I would entertain a motion to table this and seek additional information from the applicant to make this a complete application.
I move the table the application for site plan review for Performance Auto on parcel number 08-009-007-30.
Any support?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion on tabling that item? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Okay, that item has been tabled to get more information. Okay, that moves us down to our second item under new business, 10B, is the special use permit for property ID 08031000220, the Heart O Lakes Church. The additional item that, so let me back up here. We have, again, similarly, we have an application for special use permit. We do not have a site plan request in front of us. We have an application for special use permit is what we've got in front of us in relation here.
Madam Chair, we would still have to have a motion for the site plan. There's two separate things. The
Two separate.
Land use and then the site plan.
Correct, and we do not have a request for the site plan. Correct.
There's no application.
There's no
included in
application
that.
for a site plan. Okay. So we are only looking at the application for special use permit. We did have, we called out here in our agenda, the Eagle correspondence, that was sent to us in relation to the campground construction permit, that Eagle provided to us. Hang on just a second, let me find where that's at. It's in my big, this one. My big thick package.
Gonna be towards the back.
It's towards the back
In front
here.
of the one that's stapled together.
Yeah, it's back side of the huge one that's got, what was on the top of that? The top of that
Letters
one.
received?
Yes, letters received. Letters received, so it's this far back. And it's from Katarina Stevenson.
Could I call your attention to one specific thing in that document?
This is not our public comment time. There is an additional public comment time at the end.
It'll just be after the decision. I just really hope you read the construction overview part. Especially the last sentence.
Oh, yeah, Ted, I've got it. I
Okay.
tabbed it earlier. I just didn't have the right package. Thank you. So I wanted to bring this to the commission's attention. This is an email from Katerina Stevenson. I specifically wanted to call this out because this is addressed to the folks who would have sent in a construction permit application to Eagle. And they wrote back and said, "Dear Heart of Lakes Church, the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, Eagle for short, Drinking Water and Environmental Health Division, DWEHD, Environmental Health Section, EHS, Campground Program received a construction permit application attached and plans per section 12505, part 125, campgrounds of the Public Health Code of 1978, Public Act 368, as amended, part 125. The application and plans are for the proposed construction of a campground, Administrative Rule 325.1553 of Part 125 further requires the owner to submit a set of plans to the local health department. Please be advised that Part 125 specifically prohibits the construction of a campground prior to Eagle construction permit issuance. Part 125 also prohibits the operation of a campground without a valid license. Please contact your local zoning authority to ensure compliance with their regulations. Eagle will require tentative zoning permit approval pending site plan approval. Please allow Barbara Quinlan, PE, time for the initial plan review process to permit issuance. If you have specific questions regarding the project, please contact Barbara by telephone and or by email or by mail at the address provided below. If you have general questions related to the campground program, please contact the campground email address or by mail, and it includes the address in Lansing, Michigan. Sincerely, Katerina Stevenson, Administrative Assistant for Environmental Health Programs Unit, Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes Energy. And then it includes a copy of the campground construction permit application. And that information. So it appears that a construction permit for a proposed new campground has been applied for, and this is dated June 5th. So, wanted to make sure that this is in this section as we discuss the information ahead of us. Okay, so we have held the public hearing on this special use permit. Again, just a special use permit, not a site plan. We have a wonderful binder full of information. Tabbed and labeled information. I don't feel like I've had sufficient time to go through this tabbed and labeled documentation. I
So
don't
the
know how
commission
other,
knows, I'm good. I'm ready to vote on that.
you're ready to vote on the,
I'm easily coincide with this. Residents.
Mr. Doherty.
Mr. Doherty?
No, I'm, all of you. All of you who stood up and spoke here today.
Thank you.
There were things that were not in place during the last meeting. There clearly are not things in place to run what they're trying to run there, and they never were forthright.
So I would entertain a motion to do something. What are you moving to do, John?
I was answering a question. Like, you wanna go and read some more of that, feel free and go read some more of that. I've seen and read enough,
Okay,
and I don't think that they have been forthright with what they wanted to do. I was under the impression the last time they were here that they had been camping there for a number of years and that it was tents that would show up there. No one told me that they were charging for this. And I didn't know any of that was going on. So now that the public has come forward and enlightened me on all of this, and I have these things in here to double check with this, but before I go any further, in my professional experience, I don't believe they have the appropriate facilities there to do what they need to do. Specifically.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Yes, please, Ted.
I'm not done
Please
yet.
help me here.
Ready to second.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, it's gonna be almost as long-winded.
Let's get a motion here.
I move that the planning commission table further action on the Heart of Lakes Church application for special land use and associated site plan approval for parcel 100803100220, commonly known as 15357 Homestead Road, to the next regular meeting in order to allow the commission, staff, and applicant additional time to review and respond to written comments and materials submitted in connection with the public hearing, including the recently submitted objection materials, and to obtain additional information necessary to evaluate compliance with section 12.4 and articles 13.5 and 13.6 of the Inland Township ordinance. The additional information address shall include at a minimum, 1, operational details of the proposed camping use, including the maximum number of campers or camping units, frequency of use, and compliance with section 3.9. 2, information addressing potential impacts relating to noise, traffic, trash, and compatibility with adjoining properties. 3, information regarding sanitary facilities, waste disposal, and any other required health department review. 4, any input from emergency services, including fire protection and emergency access as applicable. And 5, any additional site plan details or supporting materials needed to evaluate the application under the ordinance. The tabling is without prejudice and is intended to permit a full and orderly review of the written record and any supplemental materials before the commission takes final action.
Good job. That is the motion in front of us. Do I hear support for the motion to table this application for further review?
Add one thing to his motion?
Yes,
Or would
there is
that
a
have to be a new
process to
motion?
do that. It is an amendment.
I think he covered it. You covered it. I was just gonna ask that he give us that sewage permit too. That would be covered in there.
Yeah, that's gonna be covered in,
Oh, it is.
information regarding sanitary facilities.
Okay,
Yeah,
I would
information.
second Ted's motion.
Okay.
I would like more time to go through this because I was not here for the original vote. Yes. Just my second
Is there additional discussion related to the motion to table?
Well, I don't want a table, but you guys can, how many do you need?
Yeah, we
Table.
can do a majority
Yeah, that's fine.
in that way?
We're both ready.
I won't vote, I won't, do
Okay.
I for this
I'm gonna
table.
stay out of it too.
Okay, if there's
You guys
no
wanna
further
table it?
discussion, those who wish to table the motion signify with aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed to the motion of tabling, signify with nay.
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 Okay. So we have a motion to table passes, with a split vote.
Did you vote?
I vote to table. This is a lot of information, and I think we should get more from the applicant. Okay, so motion to table passes. So that we can fully review that information and get more information from the applicant as well. My comment there would be, we will not intend to have an additional public hearing. We have heard you all. And we want to review the information provided so that we can go through all of these appropriate steps.
As a
and make
comment
sure
to
we make
that
a
though, I
decision.
feel I should have a right to comment publicly on their additional submission.
Correct,
We have
yes, and so we will have that, we will have them at the next meeting as well.
Okay, but I'll save the rest of this for the second public comment, but.
Okay.
There's,
Okay, I've got one more here. Let me get through this. Okay, so our last new business item is the zoning amendment for property ID 0801002210 related to the O'Hearn Pest Control. This is an application for zoning amendment in relation to property address 18272 Honor Highway, Interlochen, Michigan. The request in front of us is to change the current zoning of residential to commercial. We have heard public comment on this. We have seen the correspondence that was provided by William and Susan Sharp, who are also here tonight. I would entertain a motion to either review this based on our, I don't have a checklist for this one. Amendments. These are special use permits. Just a zoning amendment. I was just wondering if we have a standards for decision. I didn't pull it.
So,
It's just based on the field. I used to maybe do it now, but I'm not 100%.
Do we have,
I would say that included from the MTA is a checklist of stuff
Oh,
for
that one.
rezoning.
Oh,
that's where
It's
that was.
included in that checklist, agenda item.
Okay, so the package
So
that was
the,
originally under your agenda includes, that part was, the MTA general law ordinance checklist.
Pages 8 through 12.
Pages 8 through 12 of that one.
As a reminder to the commission, as I have a conflict of interest, I will not be speaking
On behalf of this one. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. Data quality. Not that one. This one. Okay, gotta get to the right process piece here. 8 through 12. Okay. Steps to be taken by the planning commission. Receive application with fee. Name and address of applicant and owner of land proposed to be rezoned. We've got that. Street number or other common description of land to be rezoned. We have that. Legal description of land proposed to be rezoned. We have a property parcel number. I'm not seeing a legal description in this package. Present zoning classification and requested zoning classification of land proposed to be rezoned. We've got residential and commercial. Schedule of public hearing on rezoning request. Prepare notice, that's process for that. Indicate time and place. Publish notice, mail notice, post notice, file affidavits of notice. Receive comments, we did that. We acknowledged written comments, receive comments on proposed rezoning by persons attending the hearing. We did that. We closed the hearing. Determine whether proposed rezoning is consistent with the township land use plan. Review permitted uses and special exception uses, which property could be used for if rezoning is approved. And evaluate whether property is appropriate to be used for uses allowed in requested zoning district. So those are the questions in front of us at this point to discuss. So I guess maybe the proper way to do this would be, I would entertain a motion to discuss the proposed rezoning. Or entertain a motion.
Or a motion to approve.
A motion to approve,
Or
a
to
motion to
disapprove.
table, a motion to approve with conditions, and then we discuss it.
To discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
My feeling is, well, did we get that? Guess I gotta wait for the motion.
I said second.
Oh, okay. My feeling is not to change any zoning right now. You know, I think with our master plan, was we weren't gonna do any zoning changing, especially from non-residential to commercial, so that's my feeling at this time.
Were the corrections made to our zoning
Not to,
map?
change any zoning.
Were there any corrections made to our zoning map?
That actual area right there on the future plan is commercial and mixed use. So they split the property, so the commercial would be close to US 31. And then the back half would be mixed use on the future zoning map.
On the future zoning map?
Sorry, guys, we didn't vote to discuss on the motion to discuss.
Sorry.
Anyone, all those in favor of the motion to discuss,
Aye.
signify with aye.
Aye.
Okay, we can continue
And I'm
discussing.
abstaining.
Abstain.
Well, that's right, again.
Um,
Well, we can look at that when we do zoning. If that is something that's gonna change, then when we get to zoning, we can make that change, but I don't believe we should make it right now.
Don't believe we should make it right now. Okay? What other discussion do we have?
That was mainly my feeling on it.
If that piece of property is zoned commercial in the future zoning map, why couldn't we just vote to approve this?
Right.
We can wait when we do the zoning. Then we can do the zoning. I guess that'd probably make a little more sense.
When do we approve the zoning map?
Well, I think that's coming up, right? I mean, that'll be something we'll be working on soon.
That's what the master plan, that comes in with.
Once the master plan is.
When the master plan comes through,
Then we can.
Can we work on
And if
zoning?
that's subject for zoning change, then that would be the time to make the zoning changes.
Okay, so, okay, so we're in a motion to discuss. Approve that. We're discussing.
What concerns do we have specifically with this, the rezoning for this one lot?
Well, I feel that, you know, as the master plan, we kind of, and when we did the surveys, the thought of everyone was we weren't gonna change zoning. We were gonna keep zoning the way it is. It's laid out right now. You know, when we get into zoning, then if it's subject to be changed, then we can change it.
Within the zoning.
I don't have no
changes.
concerns right now that saying that,
That corridor, correct me if I'm wrong.
saying that it can't be zoned commercial, it's just not zoned commercial, so.
I was just gonna say, I think that section on the highway there is intended to be commercial though, on the future land use, right? Or no, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Is it?
That's correct.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's.
all the ones that
we're
are
gonna do in
on
the future.
31. That's been discussed for a while.
Then we'll do it, yeah.
Just kind of holding them up here is all we're doing, I think.
Well, I don't know, not necessarily. I don't think that's
Necessarily.
that's a big deal. Well, that's, I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, you guys, everyone else is got, you know, you guys can go another route, it's fine.
I wish we had a parliamentarian who knows how to get out of a motion to discuss. Because that's not an action, unless we
vote or a motion to
motion to table or a motion to vote on approval or
Yeah, we can vote.
denial.
Sure.
I have no problem discussing, but I'm ready to vote on that.
Ready to vote on what? What would you like us to vote on?
I'd like to change that
Okay,
parcel to commercial.
So-
For those people.
we have a motion to approve the zoning amendment for the property, which is in front of us. So a motion to approve. By John. Is there a second on a motion to approve?
I would second that. I'm just making sure that people understand that it's not the whole neighborhood, that it's this one.
Specifically that parcel.
Parcel.
That parcel on Honor Highway in the
We're
future.
all good with that. We just don't want it to be our neighborhood.
Understood,
Yes.
It's our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So,
But they've made very clear that there's no chemical drums, and they've got safety precautions in place for a gallon containers. I'm glad they're stored in small capacity. It sounds like, I'm sorry, am I okay? Okay. Sorry.
so we have a motion ahead of us. We have a motion in front of us with a second. Is there additional discussion from the commission? Ted's abstaining. Okay, then, let's go ahead and all those in favor of the motion to approve signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Okay.
Nay.
One extension.
And one abstention. Okay, so then the application for zoning amendment of the one parcel number from residential to commercial has been approved. So. Okay, that brings us to the second public comment of the evening. I would point out that any
No,
person.
there's actually some things that came up in this meeting.
Yeah. Any person wishing to address the planning commission may do so once per public comment period. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and shall be addressed to the chair, not to individual commission members or others in the audience. It's a comment/input option. The planning commission is not required to comment or respond to the presenters. Silence or non-response from the planning commission should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the planning commission. We have Mr. Doherty. Thank you.
Yep, so first of all, MCL 24.242 requires you to have a second public comment when you pick this issue back up from the table.
Okay, MCL.
24.242. Second thing, I'd like to call you guys' attention to this, and this was in this is the application they filled out from Eagle, which was in the packet you referred to earlier.
Uh-huh.
I'd like you to pay special attention to because, we just heard there was no plan to expand. right here, would like to set up as a modern permanent campground to pull only one per year and we can use it more. That is an expansion, clear as day. I really wish he had enough respect for the commission to stay for the rest of the meeting, but I can't do that. We've heard from the neighbors. They really think use of loudspeakers, bullhorns, and PAs is being neighborly? Come on. This is ridiculous. It's not zoned properly. Beginning tomorrow morning, I will start stacking up zoning complaints as thick as a phone book on your desk.
We got that to look.
We've heard from the fire chief. He's got major concerns. Cherryland is not an authority having jurisdiction. They're a utility company. I don't give a crap what they inspected. That is not the right people to be inspecting electrical installations. They are a power provider. I know, I work for a utility company. My biggest concern is this, now that we're gonna request more information from them, how do I get that information in a timely fashion? Because I already ran into issues with the township trying to get information here. I didn't get a response from my email, so I filed a FOIA. Mike had told me he was told not to respond to me with a packet because I filed a FOIA. If they file this supplement late in the game, I have no way to get it, and believe me, these are not the only reasons to deny this permit. So I would like an answer on how I get this information in my hand ASAP so that I can start picking it up and give you guys another 100 pages.
I did send the information to your file.
You did, and I thank you for that, but understand the concern, had we not, or you not been willing to do that, how do we get this information in a timely fashion to prepare an argument against it? Because the way it stands now, if they file it right before the meeting, the 2 days before, I don't have time to FOIA it.
But I have to say something on behalf of the commission. I was running this commission a month ago and 2 months ago, and I wasn't aware of all the procedures. So that would have been one reason why you didn't get all the information. It's because I wasn't running things right. I got the right person here now.
I understand that, we're all fumbling through this together, right? But
we need some things from the church now, okay?
I understand
They've got
that.
a really big uphill battle with me, personally.
And I appreciate that, and I'm sure my neighbors do too.
You were very thorough, dude. Very thorough.
Thank you
I
very
got
much,
a boat
John.
anchor here.
Thank you.
I get it, I killed the rainforest.
Yes.
And this is what our planning commission needed. Thank you very much for your work on this.
Additional public
I
comment.
would just like to say that this is the first meeting I have ever attended, and it has given me a whole new appreciation of the work that you do. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you for participating and being here tonight. That's
Everybody
great.
was really good here
Any,
tonight.
any additional public comments?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna touch on Land O'Lakes very much, other than to say that
And
the transparency.
Sabrina King, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Sabrina King.
Sabrina King.
Benzie County, home is down in Genesee County. Thank you both for touching on transparency issues for Land O'Lakes. That's the only thing that I will say here. Thank you.
It's Heart O'Lakes.
Heart O'Lakes, Land O'Lakes, Heart O'Lakes, got the butter. What I will hit on is the data center issue. We have 30+ proposals in Michigan. We have 50+ moratoriums. This is an issue that you want to get ahead of. I am working across the state with different communities dealing with these proposals, and they are living in hell. And I mean literal, actual hell. Their communities have turned upside down with these proposals. This is not something that you want to wait for a proposal to hit your board, to hit your, commission, before you actually act on this. You want to look at your ordinances, and no, you don't have to have just a 6-month moratorium. You can have up to a year. There is a variance of time that you can have for a moratorium. It's not a restriction. It gives the township the power and the opportunity to fix your ordinances before a proposal threatens the area. And you don't have a choice. You don't have to be exclusionary, but you can make it hard for these companies so that you don't have these tech billionaires, trillionaires breathing down your neck trying to get a data center that will suck your water, that will destroy your wildlife, that will destroy fishing and hunting in this area, which I know is very, very important to people up here. It will destroy the environment in this area, which is beautiful. The sound alone is so harmful, incredibly harmful, not only to the wildlife, but to health. It literally drives people crazy. It has psychological and health effects that are horrific. If you look into these things, you will want to jump on this. And I ask you to jump on this as someone working across the state with these communities that are already impacted. Please look at this and thank you for looking at the master plan already. Thank you so much for bringing up the master plan. Please look at these things.
Thank you, Ms. King. We appreciate you being here tonight. Is there any other, yes,
Julie, I know June.
June.
I know you guys don't necessarily have, from what I understand when I spoke to Mike, like a limit of campers that you can have, but the state does. So my concern is that they, with their 12 campers, some of them, it's about 7 of them that are really close to the property line. And so those campers are just a concern, so I don't know if you guys can enforce that with them or not, but a temporary campground permit.
Oh, I was just showing you the guy over
Oh, it's a 2 to 4 weeks, it's not year round. So when they get these temporary camping permits, they've already had their 12 campers there anyway. So I just, that, and then can I give this to you, Mike?
I actually want to piggyback on June a little bit. I'm Wendy. About the special use permit, maybe this is more of a question, you may not be able to provide an answer. Maybe you can point me where I can find the information, but I'm not happy with what's happening now under the temporary permits.
You're welcome.
And I certainly don't want to see increased use and activity with a special use permit that would allow us to use it all summer. So how does the temporary permit get issued? Who issues that and what does it permit? Or what does it not permit? How do we know that they're meeting the requirements for the temporary permit?
That's a very good one.
And again, thank you for your time. This is also my first experience with this setup. And I have a lot of respect for you and I really appreciate you offering us the opportunity to voice our concerns.
Okay, anyone else for second public comment? With that, I would go to any other items to become before the commission.
To close the second
No.
comment, do we need to do that?
No, it's just on the agenda. We didn't have an opening of it. It's not a hearing. So, good call though. Item 12 is any other items to become before the commission. We wanted to follow up, last time that we met, Ted had volunteered to get us a copy of the Eagle report, in relation to possible contaminants and research that was done on the property that's at the corner of Lake Ann Road here. So that's.
Township owns?
Yep, that the township owns. So that's included in your packet. Just wanted to flag that for you. No action, no understanding. It was just a follow-up that we did provide that information for commissioners to take a look at. The other item that I would bring up just kind of as a teaser is that we have a ordinance as a teaser. We have an ordinance that a fee structure was changed and the township supervisor has asked us to update the, ordinance language as to match, because the fee was listed in the ordinance language. So that's gonna show up on our agenda next time. We'll take a look at it. We'll have the language in it in front of us, but that's the only change in the ordinance that has been requested, so I just wanted to give it a little, hey, this is coming.
Coming soon.
Little flag coming soon, so. With that, I would love to have a motion to adjourn.
And one thing.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I know it's late tonight, but could I make a motion? Can we include next agenda, that shooting range problem?
Oh, yeah, shoot,
We
yeah,
need to discuss that, but we don't need to do it tonight, but
okay.
we need to keep on that.
Update on,
Yes.
okay. So Mary has, given us
Didn't
a,
sound like it.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ted's gonna second.
All right, cool.
With that, any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Yeah, I'll say aye to that.
8:38. Thank you all for staying on.
Raise my family.
Can we break the record?
Which is.